Welcome back to the Smugsy Show. I'm Smugsy, your host, identifying as the Barstool Cougar. Every Wednesday we meet here to talk about important things and important people. It's been a busy week. I'm going to try to run through this on the first read. Are you ready? This week's show is about zombie Kirk Minihane, a couple of dazzling Daves, and why I hate the woke mob more than the QAnon shaman. But first, a word from our sponsor, Smugsies. The Smugsy Show is presented to you by Smugsies, sleek and elegant joint ciggies rolled in organic cannabis using locally sourced all-natural paper. Look for Smugsies in the pretty indigo and marigold packs. Okay, first up, zombie Kirk Minihane. You know, he went out on mental leave a couple weeks ago and said that he wasn't going to be doing a show until the Wilbur. Well, ta-da! He did do a show. It turns out that all this talk about cancel culture, well, Kirk Minihane can't cancel himself. He can't. He tries, but he can't. So he came back and he did a show, and it was, a little disturbing. A lot of pausing, a lot of forced laughter. But then, when he got into, how good it is to work for Barstool Sports and just sort of broke down and cried. I mean, he was, I love working at Barstool Sports. I'm never going to not work at Barstool Sports. I was like, ooh, that's a little embarrassing, but I'm sure the audience loved it. I mean, that's really his shtick, if you know what I mean. Kirk who can't be canceled. But it was an interesting show. I mean, so Kirk Minihane shows up in New Hampshire for a live show put on by two Minifans, right? And he's talking about the dynamics in the crowd, like he's with his group, his producer, Dave Portnoy, and Harrison, the intern. And apparently Justin, Peaches, came up and wanted to sit with them. And Kirk was like, no way, I can't believe he's going to sit next to us. And Dave was like, geez, I want to go talk to the popular kids over there, but maybe I should stay here with the clique. I mean, it occurred to me that they're just such bitches, really. I mean, talk about mean girls. Gretchen fetch is not going to happen. Yeah, so zombie Kirk, vulnerable Kirk, reality Kirk. It works, but what jumped out for me was Dave Portnoy. I mean, he's dazzling Dave #1. Really, I think making a move. Not alpha dog so much, but definitely strong. Strong as opposed to, I think, Kirk weak. So that's interesting to watch in the days ahead. But speaking of Cullinane, bouncy, strong, making a move, alpha dog. Kirk, he leaves and comes back like a yo-yo. It's part of a shtick. Kirk, who can't be canceled. And what about Dave Portnoy's Thanksgiving show, huh? That was something else. Maybe you did hear it. He ate too much pot chocolate thanks to Stu Feiner. Got whacked out of his mind. He was in a hospital over Thanksgiving. I mean, it's like, whoa. And it reminded me, how fluid life is, and really carpe diem, and how you really can't judge a book by its cover. When I was in college, I met this wholesome girl, let's just call her Shamrock, and she was the most homespun, all-natural girl I'd ever met from upstate New York, wore flannel pajamas. Her parents made pancakes when we stayed every night. Well, it turns out on one occasion she put psychedelic mushrooms in the spaghetti sauce for the family dinner. Now this is the family, imagine, let's see, what's that painter, the All-American Thanksgiving portrait, Americana family on mushrooms. So Dave Portnoy, well, he ate too much chocolate, and his mother had the good sense of bringing him to the hospital, and I think that really revealed a lot about why Dave Portnoy is who he is that he has a strong mother, a workhorse. His father's a show horse, his mother's the workhorse. I bet she talked some sense into him, and I think we're going to see some changes thanks to Dave's out-of-body experience. But what occurred to me is that Kirk Minihane should be the one taking the mega doses of pot chocolate, because then he could get out of his mind and look down on his own show and not have to talk to anyone or to see anybody. It would be perfect. So I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying I think Kirk might find medical cannabis. Who knows, right? Who knows? You just never know. So why was Dave Portnoy so high? It's because of Stu Feiner. You know, that fat guy? He's like the opposite to Smugsy. It's like yin and yang. He's, let's see what I have. He's always screaming and hollering. You know, he's funny in sort of that disgusting way. And he's boorish, whereas I'm sort of cool, calm, witty, elegant. And the Stu Feiner is the pusher man. He's the one who pushed the drugs on Dave Portnoy that led to the out-of-body and mind experience that landed him in the hospital over Thanksgiving, saved by his mother. So Stu Feiner is the pusher man, and I don't know how he's going to get over it with Mrs. Portnoy. I mean, he ruined Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, what's he going to do, fly her to Cancun? Send her flowers? I mean, that's a tricky one for him. We'll see. Now, why do I hate the woke mob more than the QAnon shaman? Well, maybe you're sensing that I'm not that prepared for the show. Maybe you're figuring out that I haven't written some unbelievably sophisticated, smart script because I've been busy with this housing project in my hometown where I live as a real person as opposed to a parody account. And, you know, it wasn't just yesterday, it seemed like, that everybody hated right-wing mobs. You know, it was the QAnon shaman, it was the January 6th insurrection, and bang, all of a sudden, now it's the woke mob that people hate. And I'm one of them. I hate the woke mob, and I hate the woke mob because the woke mob has basically accused me of being racist and discriminatory because I am opposed to a big, ugly, low-income housing project on the town square in the middle of our town. And the funny thing is that the woke mob, they talk a good game about progress, helping the poor, right, making the rich pay their fair share, and yet they support these programs that are all about corporate welfare, total nonsense, and they judge, and they're mean girls. So fuck the woke mob. And that's it for this week's Smugsy Show. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Until next time, this is Smugsy signing off. You can find all your favorite Smugsy content at syndicatemedia.net. That's syndicatemedia with a C.net. Take care.